Hey, welcome back to the Lion's Den, where we talk about business, lifestyle, and philosophy with a little bit of controversy. I am JD. So this episode is a little bit different. I expected to have my partner in crime here. He had a work, not emergency, but actually a promotion to go through, or that he got a promotion, so he had to go in for training. And I just kind of wanted to start off just dropping a nugget, man, because I felt like this podcast was about to fall apart. And throughout that, I still showed up and I still have an awesome guest. And just to get a little bit of nerves off my chest, because I am nervous, I'm not even going to lie. But this platform is here not just for my audience, but also for me to just show like my vulnerability. And because for all of those that follow me on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, those kinds of things, a lot of people just see the happy and they don't see the nerves or the excitement, or not even just excitement, but maybe the sadness or depression or things like that. They don't really see a lot of the grind people go through, or the shit that people don't show, like the behind the scenes kind of things. And that's kind of what I want to talk about at first, man. Hopefully somebody can relate to this. Hopefully it inspires somebody. But I literally didn't even want to show up to the studio today. I just wanted to call my buddy that's literally on the other side of the world, that's up at 3 o'clock in the morning, his time, to be on this show. I wanted to cancel because things didn't go my way. My business partner, my partner in crime, he's not my co-host. He is a host, the host of this show as well, just as much as I am. And I also had a really, really important guest that I'll probably get into later. We'll probably do a future episode with her. She would have been a really, really integral part of this episode based on one of the topics that we're going to discuss, because she knew the victim personally. So, with that, like, I was just like, man, I'm at work all day. I'm thinking, I'm all excited about getting to the studio tonight and how everything's just going to play out and be smooth. But as the day went on, things started to fall apart a little bit, and I kind of started to stress a little bit about it. And I was just like, man, you still gotta push forward, man. No matter what, you still gotta do what you gotta do, no matter what, man. I don't know really how to articulate exactly what I'm saying, but for me, it was pretty much just fuck how I feel and go get done what the commitment that I made. I made a commitment to myself that I was going to start this podcast, that I was going to put out good content. And just because situations happen that didn't go in my favor, man, you can't give up that easily, because the old me would have. The old me would have tucked tail and just went home, probably got high, and sat on my patio and done nothing. But I showed up anyway. But hopefully somebody got something out of that, man. Enough of that. I digress on that. I got all those nerves out. But man, I'm looking at my awesome guest, man. This guy here, he's literally opened my eyes to a whole new world, if you will, when it comes to being a human being. This man, I mean, he's a world-class football player. And when I say football, for you Americans, soccer players, he's a soccer player. The guy is, I call him the king. Man, this is the first time he's in the Lion's Den officially. He is a lion himself. My boy, Eliel, welcome to the show, brother.
Oh man, thanks for that introduction, man. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been waiting for this year to know that.
Man, oh my goodness. Man, this has been a long time coming, bro. We've actually had face-to-face conversations, like actually in the same room about this very moment right here, haven't we?
Absolutely, man. It's so much that we just knew that we'll do that face to face on this kind of a platform, like it was a long time coming, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just since day one, actually, pretty much since we met, it was it was destined to happen with us, you know. But yeah, man, I wanted to, you know, just really connect with um, your opening nuggets about, still having to push through
Absolutely.
despite actually, the things that really get in your way, and I know for me, like, I train twice a day, you know, throughout the majority of the week. It also, I listen to my body a lot, but the past couple of days, man, it's been hard,
Hmm.
man, and it's like, because with what I do, as many people, that are in this kind of same, boat as me.
Right.
There's so much of a regulation, emotional regulation you have to be on top of in order to get the best out of yourself through training. And it's not just showing up for showtime. It's like you said, the hard work behind the scenes, and man, it's been hard to just try to get up, man, to just try to do something because of all the this calamity and the turmoil it's causing,
Absolutely.
because yeah, man,
I
it's
actually
it's wild.
I have a question for you, bro. You talked about your training, so kind of tell me. You said you train twice a day. So tell me, what is training like for you? How rigorous is your training? What do you go through?
Man, it's been a bit different because of just what's been going on with the pandemic and whatnot. So, but I try to make sure that I try to tailor my sessions to actually being match fit. So I kind of took a little bit of my page from Kobe Bryant, rest in peace,
Oh
the
yeah,
Black Mamba, and
absolutely.
yeah, in the sense of I usually train first session 2 hours, um, about 2 hours, and mainly that's focused on technical work.
Okay.
I'm just beating on my craft and repetition, and after that, between that's it. I guess that's pretty rigorous because I actually cover about between 6 and 7 miles in that 2 hour time frame.
Hmm.
And so that's the first training session. So replenishing and just how, resting and all that stuff is so key. So I can have the energy and the mindset, the make it easier on myself to actually do the next session.
Absolutely.
But
Mindset is really
it's
important, man. That's one of the most important things. I mean, about on any journey in life, really. Uh, I mean, on life's journey. Period. I'm not even going to say a journey of success or anything like that, um,
yeah,
because the same
discipline.
thing goes for success or failure. You know, your mindset
Mhm.
is is the key, and that's
Truly.
another kind of nugget to like drop, I guess, with kind of what I was saying earlier. Whenever I
Mm,
started the intro, um, still showing up, like because my mindset wasn't where it is right now.
truly,
So
truly, man.
yeah.
It's hard and yeah, so I pushed myself with that first session, 2 hours, cover about 6 or 7 miles, rest a couple hours. I do another session. Usually in between that, I'll do like a stretch session, something with mobility, just to kind of keep the muscles limber and whatnot, and
Right.
keep the joints feeling good and whatnot. And then that next session is usually uh, a combination of like I guess yeah, just a bunch of calisthenics, really just pushing my body to for optimal like movement and
Right.
whatnot. So something that's key for my game and the way I play. So yeah, I'm on that, man. And maintenance is honestly it's probably the maintenance that's harder, that requires more discipline than the actual training in
Yeah.
terms of like, you know, really putting yourself like doing the ice baths, doing the cold showers,
Wow.
you know.
Yeah. Okay, so you brought that up. Now, I would like to ask you because we talked the other day and you talked about that. And I kind of want a refresher on that because what you were saying about it, kind of go into detail about what you were telling me the other day when you said, when I told you I couldn't take cold showers, and you were talking about it being a mindset thing. So yeah, kind of. Can you run through that again? Because that was
Yeah,
really good.
yeah.
That was really good info.
That's such a key shift, and when I kind of first started this shift in my paradigms in terms of dealing with the cold, because like black people will be like, yo, we don't do the cold like that, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, and that's me. I don't do cold like that, bro. I can't, bro. I can't. I just don't, bro. If a pool is too
Yeah.
cold, I'm not going swimming, bro. I'm telling you.
And that's the crazy part. That's how it started with, me and my buddy, when we were living in Houston. And granted, Houston doesn't have the coldest winters, but
No.
it's the transition, the contrast between hot and cold was drastic enough to actually get the similar effect that we were looking for.
Right.
So we had this small little pool, hot tub, if you may. And when it was cold, times where it was like 50 degrees, we would just do a plunge in that, and uh, that was, I wasn't up for it, obviously. Like, I didn't have the mindset I did now, but I pushed myself. I challenged myself to do it. That's something that always keeps me going. So that kind of set the groundwork for years later when I kind of ran into Wim Hof and his method of breathing, and how one has control of their mind to almost in a way be superhuman.
Right.
And you know, fortunately, like, I also do feel closer to him, since most of the year I was right on the border of Netherlands where he's based.
Oh, nice.
So I found myself just really testing that out and starting small and taking those cold showers. And for me, the showers are worse than the actual baths. But
Wow. Okay.
yeah, but I found myself just like easing into it, but also realizing that I was what I was feeling was, it was like a barrier for my actual true limitations. So the cold I was feeling it was more so my discomfort than the actual pain. And I mean, that's pretty much common knowledge, but the breaking point for me was when I started to feel like the cold wasn't actually reaching as deep as it used to. Don't get me wrong, it was still just as cold, but I felt like it was just my body that was cold. And we spoke about this. Like, I grew up in spirituality and religion, and so much of that is based on the soul aspect of being separate from the body. But for the first time, I actually felt the separation, like the difference between my body and actual, like, the me that's in the body. So it
Come
was
on.
just my body that was cold. It wasn't actually me. And that was a huge shift for not only dealing with the cold or the heat, but just my approach to life. I felt more like emboldened, like I felt like I knew that this wasn't just the only thing that I have. And you're always a little bit more ballsy when you have a little bit more to lose, like to
Absolutely.
offer, to give up. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that was a huge shift for me. Huge shift.
Dude, that is awesome, and that's you, man. You hit it right on the head too, because when you said the other day when we were talking about it, when you said, man, that you felt that you weren't cold, but that your body was. Like, it gave me chills when you said it. It gave me chills. Then it just gave me chills when you said it, and then again just now when I said it. Just because, that video that you introduced me to on YouTube by KRS-One. Um, any of y'all that want to try to find or understand a deeper meaning of your soul or your being as a human, YouTube rockstar KRS-One. He drops stupid knowledge. It's out of control.
Completely different outlook. Yeah, it's a completely different outlook on just like your existence and your
Absolutely.
imagination, and what your being truly is. And it's such a, like, the key line for me in that, and it's, and as people, who check it out will see that that always sticks with me, that this body is the limitation of you.
Oh my God,
You know?
man,
It's not the apex, it's not the fulcrum, it's the limitation of you. So that's something that I take with me, man, in my mentality
absolutely,
of like, they don't know, man. They don't know about it.
bro. I'm telling you. I mean, it's just like I I'm gonna try to quote this the best I can, and I don't remember who said it, but I was listening to some audio, and they were talking about somebody saying that they could help an individual reach their full potential, and to me, that is, if somebody comes up to me and tells me they're gonna help me reach my full potential, that means they're putting limits on what I can achieve, because my
Yeah,
potential is unlimited. There is no cap.
truly.
There is no ceiling on anyone's
Yeah,
potential. Yours, mine, anybody on the planet. I mean,
truly.
look at some of the greatest people in the world. I'm just gonna throw this one out there, like Helen Keller, and I just want to go there with this one because this one rings so true for me. And golly, I'm probably gonna mess this up, but I'm gonna get it as close as close as good as close to
Go ahead, brother. Go
word
ahead,
for
brother.
word as
Come on.
possible. But she said it's pretty much what she said. I'm going to say this in my words. I'm not quoting Helen Keller, but it's from her. Uh, it's really sad for someone to have sight but no vision. And man, when you really think about that, to have sight, like sight is what we can see, like right now. I can see where I'm at in the studio. You know, sight
Yeah.
is what's in front of me, what's in the moment, what's in the present. But vision, man, that's
Mm-hmm.
a whole nother fucking animal, bro.
This is. It's
Vision is vision. When I talk about it, man, it's out of control because
mhm.
without it, I mean, everybody has it, whether they want to say they do or not. But man, your vision really, really, really plays a huge part on what your life looks like
Mhm.
because what
Truly.
you visualize. I mean, in the Rockstar video, he talks about seeing. You can see your past, right? But
Yeah.
when you're seeing your past, you're not seeing your past with these eyes because these eyes can only see what's right in front of you, right? And you can literally see your future
Mhm.
as well, right? Because
True.
you can
True.
create images. I mean, you could put yourself in a house. I mean, I do that. Me and Ty have done that multiple times. We'll drive through a neighborhood. Man, we we drove through a neighborhood one time just to enlarge our vision. Drove through a neighborhood in Sugarland. This
Yeah.
multi-million-dollar house, man. There's probably about 30 or 40 houses in the entire neighborhood. I'm talking about
Mhm.
like huge lots. I'm talking about like a couple acre lots. These houses are not even houses, they're mansions, right? I have a
Mhm.
video on my phone. One of these tours that we went on, we walked around this house that was under construction, wasn't done being built yet. We just pulled up and walked in like we own that mug because that's what we do. We live
I
life
love
on our own terms, right? I was like, dude, just pull over.
absolutely.
Let's go in. Let's do it. And he was like, all right, bet. 5 minute
Stretch of
video, bro. A 5 minute video just walking through that house.
Mhm.
It took me 5 minutes, literally, like just to walk from one end, like up and down in every room, a whole 5 minutes. And I know it might not seem like a long time, but 5 whole minutes of walking through an empty house. I'm not walking
Yeah.
around furniture. There's nothing
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
There's walls
You ain't
up.
trying to lock up the dog or nothing like that. You
Yeah, no,
just
no, no.
truly, man. That's so key, man. That vision of, like you said, something that actually empowers you and pulls you forward.
Hmm.
And uh, it's that's been key and paramount for me and my ability to be where I am today. You know what I mean? And but to
Absolutely.
also but to also continue going. I've
Right.
made that mistake before in the past where I didn't realize I was uh, using the power of visualization. And I was pulling me towards a better. version of me that I didn't even realize I was there when I got there. And then I I made the mistake of not continuing that. I wasn't aware enough to really move forward, but now I'm at the point where I realize, and we've talked about this, like I'm doing what I love for a living. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And
Absolutely.
there was a realization where it finally clicked months after that transition. But then we got to keep pushing, man.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
you got to keep moving forward and you got to keep visualizing. So that's so key, man. So key to keep pushing and expanding the vision, because that's what was that? What's that one verse? That one saying, where the people have where there's no vision, the people perish, something like that.
Man, I haven't heard that, but I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, man.
Makes a lot of
And
sense.
exactly, exactly. So that's man, that's been so key. But also in the sense of vision, because I experienced some challenges here that I did not expect,
Okay,
and
talk about that.
the nature of them was it was
Hmm.
trauma and microaggressions that that began resurfacing in ways that were completely foreign to me.
Okay.
So this is something I've been better about actually speaking up about it, but because I feel like I was in a bit of a denial at first. Maybe I feel like it was a sign of weakness, but I had a panic attack.
Hmm.
And that was, albeit it was mild compared to the scale of how bad they can actually be,
Okay.
but uh, that was like a key indicator for me to like, whoa, whoa, what's going on here?
Right.
And I find myself almost being paralyzed in public, like petrified in a way, where I couldn't, like, there was just like this paralyzing fear that I was gonna make a mistake, a fatal mistake that I just couldn't bounce back from.
Hmm.
And I was just like, man, I'm just going to get some food. Like I'm not even doing anything crazy that even warrants some extreme retaliation or outcome. So I I, I started to realize, and through deep introspection and actually seeking professional help, that this was the way I feel living in the States.
Right.
But because I had been separated from it, and I was so used to living in that sense of survival mode where it was just natural. This is just the way it is, like
Right.
it's the grind, it's the hustle, it's just part of our life. Then, excuse me, being separated from that started to trigger me
Hmm.
because the subconscious didn't recognize what I was going through. This is not the normal. This is not the norm.
Right.
What are we doing? Like, this is not survival mode. We got to be, what's going on? Like, just firing off. And
Absolutely.
so I found myself, the volatility of my thoughts and the turbulence of my emotions was just too extreme to handle. And the first kind of telltale sign of it was when I finished the match, man, and we just a solid performance from our team, right? And a very good performance from me. I felt so happy with my performance, comfortable, satisfied. And after the game, I even had, really welcomed and got like one of the first times I had a chance to really embrace the fans and stuff like that.
Right.
So it was just a good vibe altogether. And it was a home match too. So nice, good home win. I get back to my room, set my stuff down, start unpacking, and I just started bawling.
Hmm.
I couldn't stop crying, man. And there's few people actually admitted this to, but mm,
Well, you admitted to a lot more now.
right?
I don't know how many people are actually going to watch. Hey, we're going to get the numbers up, though.
You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be in the archives, for a hot minute. But it's also one of the reasons why I do speak up about this is because it's like you said, there's so much that people don't see,
Right.
and one of the things that you've seen with my Instagram, and is I'm very much or at least I try to be a full spectrum kind of guy.
Absolutely. Yes,
Like,
you do.
you're not just gonna get the uplifting positive
Yeah,
side
you
of me.
really do. I'm gonna say that. Yeah, I gotta give it to you, man. You give it all. You give raw. I mean, the the good emotions, the bad emotions. You talk about some real shit. I love it. Like your Instagram is awesome.
I
Follow
appreciate
this
that, man.
guy. You'll learn something.
Thank you. So it was just dope. Like I said, dope. I don't know why I said that. It wasn't dope when I was going through it. Not at all.
Oh man, it
uh,
was dope going through this. Hey, you never know, bro. Hey, actually, you know what? Some of the struggles we go through is dope. We might not think
that's
so while we're going through it, but I'm telling you, like it's
true,
dope
man.
because I'm telling, bro. This is the perfect example. I swear I don't know. I keep hitting on this because I'm telling you, man. Like there's still a part of me on the inside that wants to like run and hide and doesn't even want to do this episode still. But hey,
Yeah. Hey, man. Like that's it, man. And even in this experience where I found myself like I'm doing what I love to do,
mm-hmm.
and I'm in Europe doing it. Like this is a lifelong dream, right? And
Absolutely.
I'm breaking down crying, and it was just like, what's what's going on here? So like thankfully one of my good buddies, his name is Jay. He kind of prepared me for this in a way. Out of It was kind of out of context, and I think he just kind of knew that, like, he could just kind of see that where I was going, I was going places, so to speak.
Right.
But he said to me, he said, you know, I want you to know that when you get there, just remember it's still life.
Yeah.
You're living your dreams, but it's still life.
Yeah.
And that really, like, I had to really sit back and take that in, because I feel like there's an unrealistic image that's being portrayed, and I think it's also being perpetuated a lot by social media, and I get it. Like, I don't think that's everybody's intention, like, to be like misleading in that sense. Everybody just wants to live their best life. But I also I'm kind of getting off topic here.
No, you're good,
But
man.
I also feel like that also causes a bit of rub, when your feed is every day about, only the highlights of somebody's life.
Right.
And I think that's also a perhaps a problem in the environment that we're kind of creating, where it's not okay to have low moments, you know?
Mm. Okay. Yeah. So speak on that a little bit. That talk about that. Now, you just said we're creating an environment. So pretty much, like, are you saying like society, like, pretty much creates an environment to where we're not allowed to have low moments? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
If
Yeah. If you think about it, like, what are the things that we're not allowed to do? Some people aren't allowed to make mistakes.
right.
Some worse than others.
Oh man.
And others aren't allowed to they have to maintain this image. So it's it's uh it's like a really nice prison. You know what I mean? Like, you hear like certain foreign countries where, like, man, their prison is actually really nice, like,
right.
it's kind of like that same concept of, hey man, this person is like, I really like the content they post. And some of it might push me to be, maybe initially when I followed this profile, or whatever it might be, it was pulling me to be more productive. It was pushing me to be, it was inspiring me. But human beings, it's not the human condition to be so static in how we feel, you know?
Right.
So it's easy to, maybe it's seamless to at one moment feel inspired by something and the next feel like envious of it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. I see that.
So I feel like that this environment where we create, where like we control everything that's coming to us, so to speak, is like there's no room for the bad, which actually gives way and appreciation for the good. But
Oh
there's
man.
no room for
Oh damn, boy. Okay, see, yeah, you got me fired up now because what you just said, oh, about having the bad, and then I mean, it makes way and gives, it makes you appreciate the good.
mm,
Now let me tell you, boy. Oh my gosh, talk about
mm,
gratitude, man. You know
yes,
me.
sir.
I mean, I think I posted it
Absolutely.
less than 24 hours ago because it's probably still on my story. And all it says is grateful in blue letters with the praying hands.
So
The the gratitude, that's my gratitude hands. I use that emoji. That's probably like one of my number one emojis, man. But I just want to say, bro, gratitude. Living a life of gratitude fucking changes a lot of things. It
yeah.
good gosh, man. I
And
really can't even explain how much because I've noticed. Um, I had a conversation with my guest that was supposed to be here like today. I'm just gonna. I had a conversation with her yesterday, right when she came to the house, and we were in my room and we were just talking, and I told her I was like, this is actually like the least amount of material things that I've ever had in my life. Like as far
mhm,
as like furniture and just like household things. Like literally, my bed is on the floor, my mattress, box spring and everything
mhm,
is on the floor. I used, boy, I'm telling you, never in my life would I have ever done that until now. But
yeah.
see, and what I realized is because I used to live a life that, man, I mean, being in the Navy, getting paid on the 1st and 15th like clockwork, just having money and being able to just spend money and know that it's going to come right back like in
Mm-hmm.
a few in 2 weeks, like it was like clockwork. There was no wasn't worried about anything, you know. I had a
Mm-hmm.
steady job. I mean, I was in the military. They wasn't they wasn't firing people, you know. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
So just having that mindset, man, I just spent money and I always had like cool things and I had to have this and I had to have that. But man, when I tell you, right now is the happiest I've ever been. And when it comes to like the least amount of material things that I have. Now, don't get things twisted because I am on a journey of getting so much. People are going to look at me like, bro, I remember
Yeah.
when you didn't have shit. Well, yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And notice how I put that in past tense history. I remember when you didn't have shit because
Exactly.
man, I got it all. That multi-million-dollar house, it ain't built
Mhm.
yet, but uh, hey,
It's true.
the
It's
plans are
true.
being
Yeah.
drawn. I'll just say that.
I know, right? You're just waiting for him to get the plans right, get the
Absolutely,
right people, the right specialists, interior designer,
bro.
all that stuff.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's all coming together. It takes time to find excellence.
What they say, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Truly, yeah, yeah. Amen.
Oh man.
Yes, sir, man. And I think that, man, that's
Gratitude.
that level of gratitude is like, I think we also have to like appreciate the cycle of what creates gratitude.
Absolutely.
There has to be contrast. Like, what does it be thankful for if there's nothing that's shit? You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
then it's it's no surprise that we've seen the trends where so many people that come from nothing end up becoming super like mega superstars or incredibly successful, And there's no surprise because they have a level of contrast and understand what it feels like to have nothing. And that in of itself creates, that's like, it's like, I don't know how to say it, but it's almost the equivalent. It has to have its equivalent on the other side of the scale.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that level of poverty or whatever it is you experience almost creates way for the complete opposite of that, you know.
Hmm.
So for me, it's no surprise, but I think it also takes an appreciation. And you hear people say it all the time. Once you kind of get it, you also appreciate the tough times.
Yep.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
And
And
that gratitude post that I just did recently was appreciating
mm,
the tough time that I was going through in my head, like literally, like the feeling, not even the time that I'm going through in my head, but just the feelings that I had, just because
mm,
I just had a weird feeling, like just a not necessarily a negative or a bad vibe. It was just an off vibe. I didn't feel like I was like putting out my full positive energy, and you know how crazy that can get, right? So like
true.
I've kind of been feeling like a little off when it came to my energy, but I had to just realize like, hey man, this is I call them growth spurts. Anytime I get this feeling
Mm,
like that, man, it's a growth spurt, man. I'm growing through something right now
yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm gonna come out on the
yeah.
other side of this. I'm gonna come out on the other side of this smiling.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna come out on the other side of
Absolutely.
this feeling better, no, doing better, stronger. I mean, shoot,
Yeah.
this is the first time I just said, hey, I'm about to just do my podcast on my own, right?
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. And
With the king.
I didn't even realize it seems like it's supposed to be like this. That's a good job you're doing,
Hey,
bro.
you
Like
know what? And what do we talk about all the time? What do we call that? Alignment.
alignment, yes, sir.
Alignment.
You say
And
so.
that's why, and I think that's why, yeah, I had nerves and I still got nerves or whatever. They're not going to go away. But I think
Mm,
that's why, like, I knew I had to do this just because the universe always aligns the right way. We talked about just you and I having a conversation aligns then anyway, and that's exactly what's happening. So
truly.
literally, so as I thought that things were falling apart, they were actually coming together because this is
Truly.
what needed to happen.
Alignment, that vision you was talking about, pushing through the tough times, even though you don't really feel like it,
Oh my
you know?
God, talking about not feeling like, oh man, bro, man. Okay, talking about not feeling like it. Let me tell you two conversations that I've had. My brother, my ace, best friend since fourth grade. Literally, he's 2 hours older than me. My brother Ray, I love you, man. You already know. Uh, so he talked to me today, right? We had a conversation while I was at work earlier, and he said something that like really hit me. And I just don't think of myself this way, but to hear somebody say it, it's like, man, what? I mean, so he talked about his father because both of our fathers have passed away, right? Both of our fathers are gone. He lost his dad a few years ago, so did I, right? Um, he was talking about his dad and how much he loved his father, but he told me, he said, as far as a consistent male role model, he's always looked up to me. And I was like, what? Like he literally, like my boy, that's literally like 2 hours older than me. Like we have
Yeah.
obviously different parents, but we were the only two black kids in my fourth grade class, right?
Hmm.
In our fourth grade class, you know, he's been my dog since day one. Like he literally second day of school got into a fight over somebody that touched my pumps. You know, has some. I don't know
Hey.
if you're old enough for that, but you remember the
Yeah,
shoes that you
yeah, I
could, the
got you.
basketball shoes you can pump up. They had a little thing
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I got you.
Yeah, some dude touched my pumps, man, and he was ready to kick the dude's ass, and I'm like, whoa, like chill, relax. But yeah,
Right,
my
about
brother,
yeah.
man, when he said that, man, it literally like almost had me in tears because it's like I aspire to be a certain way, but going back to what you said, it just doesn't feel like that. You know, and then
Hmm.
my cousin as well. Like, I mean, he told me he's like, man, his exact words were, "Man, you really on some other shit right now," and it wasn't a negative thing, just because We were talking about me smoking cigarettes and not smoking anymore, literally like not drinking. If I drink, I can literally go to a bar, have a beer, and that was used to be abnormal for me, especially when I was in the Navy. Man, that was man. Talk about drinking
Going
like a
back.
fish. I mean, that's literally all I did, all day,
Going
every
back.
day. Drink and smoke cigarettes, man. And now that I've literally grown into a person that doesn't even crave. I work at a bar.
Mm.
And I can literally probably
Yeah.
count on one hand how many times I've drank at that bar. And I don't smoke
That's like,
cigarettes anymore. It's been over probably about a year and a half since I've actually had a cigarette. I first started when first stopped smoking by vaping. Had a little vape stick, and then uh, for another conversation in the den. But me and my brother, my partner in crime, had a conversation and actually got me to stop vaping nicotine. So, and that was in January, and I haven't touched nicotine since.
hey man, well
And
done,
and
well done.
and
I
it
like that.
and I say that to say that I'm not bragging about myself because I don't like it. Doesn't feel like I've accomplished that much. That's like going on to what you said. People see you and they tell you things, and it's like, man, like, oh, I actually did do this or I did accomplish this, but I don't feel that way. So success doesn't always feel the way you think it's going to look because your vision and reality, I mean, you do create your reality through your vision, but you can also get your vision in ways you didn't think it was going to look like. Like things will happen in your life, things that you visualize and things that you want, and they'll happen, but you just got to really look. You got to look deep
Mm,
and realize like
yeah.
that's exactly what you've manifested.
Yeah, you got to be open to realize what's actually come from you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yep.
And like to kind of go back to a point that you mentioned, that's the reason why I feel like the whole comparison thing is such a dangerous game to play because it's it's like not only is it kind of giving you a foreign perception of what your goodness, your abundance is supposed to look like, but it's also limiting you're also limiting yourself to what it is like, to what it looks like in somebody else's life.
Yeah.
So if I see your car, I'm like, damn, that's a sweet ride. Like, you see that? You see that? Is that carbon fiber? Oh shit, man.
Right. Yeah.
And then how do I know that my whip isn't exactly what, like, isn't something that I would even feel even more ecstatic about? But now I'm limiting myself to what you have and kind of overestimating the feeling it gives you as if that would give me the same feeling.
Right.
So like I think that's a kind of a dangerous comparison thing, and it's a reason why some of the best people like in their crafts in their field are it's the reason why I even in my field I don't I don't compare, like uh, some younger kids and stuff that from my old high school that asked me, oh yeah, like who do you like, who do you play like, or who do you model your game after? And I'm like, uh, what do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't understand what that means.
He's saying, "What?
And
What do you mean?
like
Who do I? What are you saying? Who am I trying to be like? Nobody but me, right? Just better than who you were yesterday, right?
truly, and like, and people ask me, I don't even answer this question anymore. They'll ask me like, who's my favorite footballer, or who's my favorite soccer player? That question is always going to be me,
I love
because
it.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who I am. If I don't, when I do something incredible, it's never gonna be trumped by what somebody else doing something incredible. Never. So it's like, I mean, I don't compare myself to other people. Yeah, other people push me, they challenge me. That's kind of more of an internal, I guess complex within myself. But
No,
it's like,
absolutely. I mean, and it took me a while really to get to that point to stop comparing myself. And still, every now and again, I find myself doing it. But I mean, man,
Mm,
that's like the biggest. I want to say like no, man. Like you just don't. You
yeah,
shouldn't do things like that. Like just when I say you shouldn't, do your best not to compare yourself to other people,
yeah.
because that's one thing about me, man. Somebody told me the other day, uh, like I told them about the podcast and everything like that, and they were like, "Man, when you don't see somebody for a while, that means that like they out there grinding and hustling." Because like I had to stop worrying about what everybody else was doing and focus on what I wanted to
Mm,
do. Because
I see. Yeah.
I mean, man, I have friends that are so called maybe doing better than me or whatever. Man, I've even my job title on Facebook and Instagram. Do you know what it says? I'm over here putting you on the spot too. It's all good,
I
but
want to.
creator of my happiness. That's what I do. I mean, that's
And
my number one goal from here on out. I mean, not even from here, but yet here on out. But I started that a while back, man. When I changed
CEO.
that, huh?
I said CEO.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
creator of my happiness. See, now I gotta write stuff down. I'm a little creator of COMH. Yeah, there we go. I had
CEO. Yeah.
that's what I am.
You're a CEO. I'm a COMH.
a comb almost. Creator of my happiness, man. Like that's
Yeah,
all I'm focused on, bro. Is doing what makes me happy. And I talked about it,
absolutely.
man. This right here is a project that I've wanted to do for quite some time, and finally got it off the ground. Uh,
And here it is. Boom.
and I got you, this awesome individual in here, in the
Appreciate it.
den, having this fire ass conversation, man.
Appreciate it,
It's
man.
been great.
Appreciate it, man. Because like these kind of things, like we've talked about this before. I mean, what haven't we talked about honestly? But
Yeah, for real.
it's like it's like these things uh they fuel me. You know what I mean? They
Yes, sir.
fuel you, and I think that's something that people probably underestimate or probably haven't found the value of yet. You gotta have, like when people say speak, you gotta have a team. This is also like part of your team, people that you can come alive with.
Oh man,
You know what I mean?
bro.
Like it doesn't have to be somebody who offers a specific trade that can help you reach your goals. It could be somebody who's like, yo, like let's talk about concept ideas. Let's vibe, let's create, let's speak things into existence. You know what I mean? That's such an important aspect to have, uh, because you have to be around people that or I don't know. You have to be around people that can feed what you're doing, or rather feed your belief in what you're doing.
Absolutely, man. Come on, talk to me, dog. Because I mean, you, for example, I mean, you're a prime example, man, and I'm so honored, and it is truly a privilege to have you in my circle. Because what time is it? First of all, let's tell people where you're at. First of all, let's go there. We didn't even get there. Where are you right now?
Yeah, yeah. I'm in Berlin, Germany, of
Awesome. And
course.
what time is it there?
Well, I was a little off of my initial assessment, but right now it's 3 a.m.
It's 3 a.m. right now, right? So, oh wow. So you got up at 2 for this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I gotta go train after this.
Man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for who you are. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being the lion that you are, the beast, man. I mean,
Appreciate it.
we this is one thing that you're gonna hear us say in the den a lot. Uh, we call ourselves beasts, but we're not just animals, man. We're so much more than that. We're actually much greater than that. That's actually how it goes.
Mm,
We call
truly,
ourselves
man.
lions and tigers, but we're actually not animals. We're much greater than that, and we
Yeah,
truly
man.
are, man. You are a prime example of that. Um,
Thank.
I mean, we still got
I
we
am.
still got 10 minutes, bro. So we can chop it up some more. I wasn't trying to cut it off, but I had to
No,
say
no,
that,
no,
man. You're like
no.
you're a
I'm just soaking it in, man.
oh
Soaking it
man.
in.
I just appreciate you, bro, because you're right, man. We feed off of each other, man. Because
Absolutely.
back to alignment, bro. This episode needed to happen the way it did.
Yeah, man.
This was a good
Uh,
lesson for me especially. I know I got a major lesson out of this right here because of you. Thank you.
hey, man, brother. Thank you, man. I was happy to be on here, man, because I always relish the opportunity to have these kind of these encounters. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's not many people you can have these kind of you know meaningful
Conversation.
encounters with
Right.
this.
Absolutely.
Especially in terms of you know yeah you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
I'm woke. I feel you. I feel you, bro.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
It's good, man. Um, it's it's been a tough week.
Yeah.
It's been a tough week, and you know, I've been a bit vocal about how I feel, and uh, yeah, I've been working on some projects. As you know, I'm also in a published author, so
Yes,
I've been
a
working on
published author, man. That's amazing. Sorry to cut you off, but I got to throw this out there into the universe now, because you know, but I haven't said it to anybody else, so I'm gonna say it here. And you are a published author, and you're also gonna help me write my book, right?
absolutely
Okay,
100%.
cool. I just got to put
Yeah,
that out there because my book will be coming, an autobiography, man, by me on my life story and the things, not that it's crazier or more drastic than anybody else's, but it's my story, it's my truth, and something that I get to tell.
and somebody needs to hear it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes. That's the important part, man. And like storytelling has been such a with many people, but it's been such a pivotal like staple in my life, man, in these weird ways that are still like, showing themselves as I move forward today. So it's especially in these times, man, there's so much within me that I have to get out. And I actually have an interesting story um, about my me and writing, right?
Okay.
So when I was in second grade, you probably know, your kids won't know, but I was actually hooked on phonics, right?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny that you say that because I'm not even gonna lie. My mom actually bought that for me when I was in elementary school.
Where
Actually, like bought the whole thing for me and everything. Like I never really used it. I'm not even gonna lie. I did not use phonics, but I had it though. I sure did.
yeah. So yeah, man. So I was on that because I guess just my speaking ability was just a bit lower than it should have been,
Mm-hmm.
which is saying a lot given I was I was in second grade. Uh, so fast forward several years later, I mean, grammatically, I was quite good. I was good enough to actually take, honors courses and stuff like that. But by the time I reached university, um, I had to take a placement test,
Right.
and my reading and writing literacy was so low that I couldn't take a regular English course in
Wow.
college. I had to take a critical literacy course and improve skills before I was able to take a regular English.
And
And
now look at you.
yeah, man, it's wild because like most people, actually nobody would guess that from me that I had a speech problem and a writing
Hmm.
writing problem.
Yeah.
You know,
That's why you're one of the
um,
greats, man. I mean, that's why you. That's why you are who you are, man. I'm telling you, that's why you are one of the greats, man. People are gonna know your name worldwide. I guarantee it. You're gonna
but
leave an
it's
amazing
important.
legacy behind, bro.
Yeah, but it's also important for people to realize like there is an ability to change
Mm-hmm.
yourself, like if you're really committed. What writing meant to me at the time, it became an outlet. So the meaning of which something I had no previous interest in, and which I was poor and extremely poor in terms of skill,
Right.
when it took different meaning. it became so important to me to develop the skills.
Awesome.
So I worked hard, man. I worked hard to improve my ability. I was vulnerable and sending it out to teachers for them to critique it, and some of them were quite harsh. I'm not gonna lie, um, but it was the steps I needed to take because it was that important to me.
Absolutely.
And maybe it's maybe it's easier said than done, but maybe when we pursue something, there has to be a meaning. A lot of people call it passion, but there has to be a meaning that whatever it is takes, like faculty within your heart or within your being, that pulls you towards the, especially when you're a bit older, like, college isn't necessarily the time to start learning how to read and write.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely not the time for that.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like reaching that point and having the drive and just it takes. People really, maybe even through my example, that man, this guy he was horrific,
Right.
and I mean that in every way.
Hmm.
Um, and now he went from being so bad at that to start contributing for nonprofit organizations and contributing for online magazines,
There you go.
and helping others edit their books and work on their books and whatnot, and
Yes,
now
sir.
himself being a published author. And like you said, it doesn't really seem like much to me, but I had to acknowledge that growth when I looked at it objectively, because it's important for me to kind of tell other people to, like, yo, like, I believe in your ability to transform yourself, even if it's something that you suck at.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Because I'm gonna go ahead and end on this note, pretty much, because I have I guess a thing with talking in front of people, but that's why I do it. Um, I get butterflies in my stomach when I'm on stage in front of people, but it actually really excites me, and I feel like I want to be heard. I have a voice and I want to be heard. So this is the start of that for me.
Good
Uh,
energy.
yeah, man, I appreciate it, bro. Hey, I feed off of other people's energy, so I appreciate
Mhm.
I appreciate the good food, man. I appreciate the
Yeah,
good
bouncing
food,
back.
bro.
Bouncing back.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir, man.
But man, brother, it was a pleasure, an absolute honor, pleasure, privilege, all that good stuff to have you in the den, man. We'll definitely have you in again. The next time you're in Houston, hopefully you'll be sitting in this actual chair, like right here in the studio
Yeah.
with me.
When
So
I'm in Houston, yeah, when
yeah,
I'm
you
in
need to,
Houston.
you need to come back for a visit. That way, me, you, and Ty can all come in here and have a good conversation, bro.
Absolutely, man. I'm sad he missed it, man, but
Yeah, me
he's
too. It's
yeah.
all good. Hey, hey, life happens. Hey, you gotta adapt and overcome. Keep pushing. He's about to make some more money, so hey, that's good for him. So yeah,
Absolutely.
brother, I appreciate you again. We will talk soon because we got other business things to talk about and life to talk about, if you will. I'll just leave that at that. We got life to talk
Yeah,
about, bro. So
I like what you did there. I like what you did there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I figured you might like that.
Respect,
All right,
respect.
man. Hey, much love, bro.
Much love, man.
Make it an amazing day. I'm not even gonna say have an amazing day. Make it an amazing day because you are in control of that, man. Uh,
Thank you, sir.
I
You
appreciate you
already know.
again, and until next time, brother.
Of course. Till next time.
All
Much
right, man.
love, brother.
See you later.